Welcome, everyone. I am glad you are here because what we are about to uncover today is not a coincidence. You have been guided to this specific video at this specific time for a reason that transcends the ordinary. Throughout this session, you are going to learn the profound truth behind your current isolation and the specific cosmic protocols that are being activated within you right now. By the time we reach the end of this journey, you will have a completely new perspective on your purpose and the divine protection surrounding your life. Stay focused and listen with your heart, because the message you've been waiting for is finally ready to be revealed. The silence you are experiencing right now is not an absence of progress, but a deliberate divine quarantine designed to protect your evolution. When the universe marks someone for a specific purpose, it often begins by stripping away the external noise that has defined their reality for years. This forced isolation serves as a sanctuary where your true frequency can stabilize without being pulled down by the low vibration expectations of society. You are currently in a sacred waiting room where the door has been locked from the inside, to ensure that no outside influence can corrupt the transformation taking place within your spirit. True spiritual growth requires a level of focus that is impossible to maintain in a crowded room. By removing the distractions of social obligations and the constant feedback loop of others, heaven is allowing you to hear the subtle whispers of your own intuition. This period of stillness is a training ground where you learn to distinguish between your soul's voice and the echoes of the world. It is a necessary withdrawal because the next level of your life requires a version of you that is no longer dependent on human validation or traditional logic. Every great shift in human history was preceded by a season of solitude for those who led the change. This weight of silence is actually the atmosphere of the deep subconscious where your new identity is being forged. It can feel heavy or lonely because you are shedding the skin of who you used to be, and that process requires a controlled environment. The loneliness you feel is simply the space being cleared for the higher level connections and opportunities that are currently being prepared for your arrival. The opinions of others often act as a form of energetic static that blurs your vision and weakens your resolve. If the people around you were allowed to influence you during this transition, they would likely talk you out of your destiny based on their own fears and limitations. This is why you have been pulled back into the shadows. It is a defensive maneuver by the universe to keep your frequency pure. You are being shielded from the projections of those who cannot perceive the magnitude of what you are about to step into. Ultimately, this silence is an invitation to master yourself before you are called to master your environment. It is a period of internal fortification where your character is tested and your spiritual roots are pushed deeper into the earth. When the silence finally breaks, you will emerge with a clarity that cannot be shaken by external storms. Embrace this quiet as a gift of preparation, knowing that the most powerful messages are often delivered in the absolute stillness of the night. Being chosen is far from a title of status or a reward for good behavior. It is a heavy mandate that carries the weight of spiritual responsibility. It means your life no longer belongs solely to your personal desires, but is part of a larger cosmic architecture designed to bring light into specific areas of darkness. To carry this frequency is to walk a path that many will admire but very few could actually endure. It requires a radical abandonment of the ego and a willingness to be misunderstood by the masses for the sake of a higher truth. The unique energetic signature you carry acts as a beacon for both divine opportunities and spiritual opposition. You may have noticed that you have never quite fit into standard social circles, or that your presence alone seems to trigger reactions in people without you saying a word. This resonance is the result of a specialized internal wiring that allows you to process higher frequencies of information and emotion. You are essentially a lightning rod for change, designed to ground new ideas and energies into the physical realm. Understanding your purpose requires you to move past the idea of privilege and embrace the reality of service. A chosen individual is often placed in the most difficult environments because they possess the internal strength to transform those spaces from within. Your struggles were never meant to break you. They were the stress tests required to ensure you could carry the power that is now being entrusted to you. The universe does not waste energy on those who do not have the capacity to handle the pressure of the mission. This frequency also demands a higher level of discipline and self-awareness than what is expected of the average person. You cannot afford to engage in the same habits, dramas, or mindsets as those around you, because your energy is too volatile and influential. Every thought you think and every word you speak has a magnified effect on your reality. Recognizing this power is the first step in mastering the chosen frequency, moving from a state of being overwhelmed by your gifts to a state of operating them with precision. As you begin to decode this internal call, you will find that your life aligns with a series of synchronistic events that confirm your direction. You are being signaled through signs, dreams, and intuitive hits that the path you are on is the correct one, even if it defies traditional logic. This is the rare resonance of a soul that has finally synchronized with its divine blueprint. You are stepping out of the collective dream and into a conscious reality where you are the architect of a destiny that was written before you were even born. Heaven operates on a protocol of total privacy when a soul is undergoing a critical upgrade, because the initial stages of a divine revelation are too delicate for the public eye. Just as a seed must remain buried in the darkness of the earth to germinate, your current vision requires a period of hiddenness to take root. If you were to expose your plans or your inner shifts too early, the harsh winds of human doubt and worldly logic would wither the growth before it has a chance to strengthen. This privacy is not a punishment, but a high-level security measure to ensure that your destiny remains untouched by outside interference. Receiving messages directly from the source requires a vacuum where no other human interpretation can distort the signal. When you are in the company of others, their energy naturally bleeds into your psychic space, causing you to second-guess the intuitive hits you receive. Heaven demands your undivided attention so that the wisdom being downloaded into your spirit is pure, unfiltered, and uniquely tailored to your specific path. By cutting off the external world, you create a sterile environment where the truth can be heard with absolute clarity, free from the contamination of collective fear. The most profound spiritual transformations are often those that cannot be explained in words, and therefore should not be shared until they are fully integrated. Sharing a sacred experience prematurely often causes the energy of that experience to dissipate, leaving you feeling empty or misunderstood. Privacy allows you to sit with the power of what you are learning, letting it marinate in your consciousness until it becomes a permanent part of your identity. You are being taught to find validation within yourself and your connection to the divine, rather than seeking the hollow approval of those who are not on your level. There is a strategic advantage to being hidden that the ego often struggles to accept. While the world demands constant visibility and content, the spiritual realm values the power of the unseen. Being in a private phase allows you to move in silence, making adjustments and building your foundation without the pressure of being watched or judged. This period of being under the radar is where the most significant work is done, as it allows you to fail, learn, and evolve in a safe space where the only witness is the universe itself. When the time finally comes for you to emerge, the strength of your privacy will become the power of your presence. People will wonder where your sudden conviction and unshakable peace came from, not realizing it was forged in the months or years you spent in the secret place. Heaven keeps you under wraps because it is preparing a grand reveal that requires you to be fully formed and unyielding. Trust the shadows you are in right now. for they are the very place where your light is being intensified for the world to eventually see. One of the greatest risks to your spiritual trajectory is vibrational contamination from those who do not share your frequency. Even people with the best intentions can inadvertently plant seeds of doubt or project their own limitations onto your path. When you share your chosen insights with someone who is still operating from a place of fear or survival, their skepticism acts like a toxin to your resolve. This is why you are being warned to watch who you allow into your inner circle, as the energy of influence is often subtle but incredibly destructive. External influence often functions as a mirror that reflects a distorted image of who you are supposed to be. If you rely on the feedback of society, you will inevitably mold yourself into a version that is acceptable to the masses but useless to the divine plan. The chosen path is by definition unconventional, meaning it will rarely make sense to the people around you. Allowing their logic to dictate your steps is a form of spiritual sabotage, as it forces a multidimensional mission to fit into a three-dimensional box. The ego is highly susceptible to the trap of seeking validation, which is exactly how influence gains a foothold in your life. There is a deep-seated human desire to be seen and understood, but for the chosen one, this desire can be a fatal flaw. When you seek the okay from others, you are essentially giving them a vote in a process where they have no authority. You must learn to stand alone in your truth, recognizing that the only approval that matters is the one that comes from the silence of your own soul and the guidance of the heavens. Cords of influence can linger long after a conversation has ended, manifesting as intrusive thoughts or a sudden loss of confidence. These energetic ties drain your power and keep you tethered to a collective consciousness that is designed to maintain the status quo. To truly step into your power, you must be willing to perform a vibrational detox, removing yourself from environments and relationships that require you to shrink or dim your light. Protecting your energy is not an act of arrogance. It is a fundamental requirement for your survival as a high-frequency being. Ultimately, the goal of this isolation is to make you unswayable and immune to the projections of the world. Once you have spent enough time away from the influence of others, you develop a spiritual spine that cannot be bent by criticism or flattery. You become a self-contained unit of divine expression, moving with a certainty that comes from being anchored in your own reality. By rejecting the influence of the many, you become a powerful conduit for the one capable of leading others toward their own liberation without ever losing your way. Shadow work in the dark room of your soul is the essential process where your true power is developed away from the distracting glare of the world. Just as a photograph requires a light-sealed environment to reveal its image, your spiritual identity needs a period of darkness to transition from a raw potential into a clear reality. This is the stage where you confront the aspects of yourself you have suppressed or ignored, allowing the refining fire to burn away the illusions of the ego. It is a lonely but transformative space where your deepest wounds are transmuted into the very wisdom that will eventually guide others. This internal refining fire acts as a crucible, separating the gold of your true essence from the dross of your past conditioning. In this state of isolation, you are forced to face your fears, your regrets, and your insecurities without the usual coping mechanisms of social validation or busy work. It is painful because it requires the death of the old self, but it is necessary because the version of you that is chosen cannot be built on a foundation of unhealed trauma. By standing in the heat of your own truth, you develop a spiritual resilience that makes you unshakable in the face of future challenges. Developing the image of your future self involves a meticulous re-examination of your life's narrative. In the quiet of the dark room, you begin to see that your greatest setbacks were actually setups for your current awakening. You start to piece together the patterns of your life with a newfound clarity. understanding that every hardship was a brushstroke on a masterpiece that is only now becoming visible. This phase is about radical self-acceptance and the realization that your darkness is not a flaw, but a reservoir of untapped energy and creative potential. The process of shadow work ensures that when you finally step into the light, you do so with integrity and self-mastery. Many people seek power or visibility before they have done the inner work, leading to a collapse under the weight of their own unresolved shadows. By doing this work now, in private, you are ensuring that your character can sustain the platform you are being prepared for. You are building an internal infrastructure that can handle the high-voltage energy of your destiny, making you a reliable vessel for the divine work ahead. Ultimately, the darkroom phase is where you learn that you are your own greatest ally and your own most formidable opponent. Once you have conquered the shadows within, the world outside holds no fear for you. You emerge from this period of intense introspection with a sense of wholeness that others will find both mysterious and magnetic. The work done in the dark is the secret to the radiance you will eventually display in the light, serving as a testament to the power of those who are brave enough to sit with themselves in the suns. Identifying the watchers in your life requires a high level of spiritual discernment that can only be developed in the absence of constant social noise. As you ascend in frequency, you become a person of interest to many different types of energies, some of which are supportive and some of which are parasitic. Discernment is the ability to see beyond the masks people wear and to sense the true intention behind their gaze. You must learn to distinguish between the silent cheerleaders who hold space for your growth and the observers who are merely waiting for you to stumble so they can feel better about their own stagnation. Knowing who is observing you with love versus who is watching with envy is vital for your energetic safety. Envy carries a specific heavy vibration that can act as a subtle anchor on your progress if you are not aware of it. Some people stay close to you not because they want to follow your lead, but because they want to monitor your power and find ways to diminish it. By becoming aware of these dynamics, you can consciously choose to shield your energy and limit the access these individuals have to your inner world, ensuring your growth remains unhindered. Cutting the cords of the past is a non-negotiable step in identifying and neutralizing negative watchers. Many of the people observing your current journey are tethered to the old version of you and are subconsciously trying to pull you back into past dynamics. These energetic attachments act as leashes that prevent you from reaching your full potential. Recognizing these cords allows you to perform the necessary spiritual surgery to detach from people, places, and memories that no longer serve your highest good, effectively clearing your field for the next chapter. The necessity of breaking these ties is often what makes the chosen path feel so isolating, but it is a requirement for total sovereignty. You cannot carry everyone from your past into your future, especially those who refuse to evolve alongside you. Identifying who belongs in your new reality and who must stay in the old one is a harsh but necessary form of spiritual accounting. As you clear the space, you will notice that the watchers who were draining you begin to fall away, replaced by a much smaller, higher vibrational circle of true witnesses. Understanding the feeling of being set apart helps you realize that being watched is a natural byproduct of your light. You are a beacon, and beacons naturally attract attention from across the spectrum of human consciousness. Instead of being intimidated by the eyes upon you, use this awareness to sharpen your own vigilance. Trust your gut feelings about people, even when they say the right things. Your intuition is the ultimate security system. By mastering the art of discernment, you ensure that the only influences allowed into your sacred space are those that are in total alignment with your divine mission. The science of solitude is rooted in the neurological and spiritual necessity of rewiring the mind away from the collective ego. When you are constantly surrounded by others, your brain is in a perpetual state of reaction, adapting to social cues and external expectations. By entering into deep isolation, you allow your nervous system to downregulate and exit the fight-or-flight mode of societal survival. This stillness triggers a shift in your neural pathways, opening up space for higher intuition and complex problem-solving that remains blocked when you are overwhelmed by the mental noise of the crowd. Finding your authentic voice requires the complete removal of the echoes left behind by your upbringing, education, and social circles. Most people mistake the internal chatter of societal conditioning for their own thoughts, but solitude acts as a filter that separates the two. In the silence, you begin to hear a deeper, more resonant frequency that belongs solely to your soul. This is not just a psychological exercise. It is a spiritual recalibration where you rediscover your original blueprint before the world told you who you were supposed to be. Solitude provides the necessary environment for the integration of higher dimensional insights into your physical reality. Without the constant interruption of other people's energies, your biomagnetic field can stabilize and expand. This process allows you to download and process vast amounts of spiritual information that would otherwise cause mental fatigue or confusion in a busy environment. You are effectively becoming a more refined vessel, capable of holding and manifesting frequencies that the average mind cannot even perceive. The cognitive benefits of being alone are backed by the spiritual law of self-mastery, which states that one must know themselves before they can impact the world. During this period, your brain begins to prioritize internal signals over external stimuli, which strengthens your discernment and your ability to manifest your desires. You are moving from a state of being outer-directed to being inner-directed, which is the hallmark of any chosen leader or visionary. This shift is permanent and provides you with an unshakable foundation of self-trust. Ultimately, the science of solitude is about becoming the master of your own mental and energetic domain. Once you have navigated the depths of your own mind without the crutch of social distraction, you become immune to the manipulation and groupthink that plagues modern society. You emerge from your isolation not just as a stronger version of yourself, but as a completely different type of human being. One who operates from a place of sovereign truth and divine intelligence. This is the ultimate goal of the chosen isolation, the birth of a fully autonomous spirit. Recognizing the signs that you are being guarded by a higher power is essential for maintaining your peace during times of transition. Often, the most frustrating experiences, the sudden loss of a job, the ending of a long-term relationship, or a missed opportunity, are actually forms of divine redirection. When heaven is protecting your destiny, it will ruthlessly close doors that lead to paths that would diminish your light or distract you from your mission. These closed doors are not rejections. They are active interventions designed to keep you on the narrow path toward your highest calling. The invisible shield surrounding a chosen one often manifests as a strange sense of being set apart, or even invisible in certain social settings. You may find that you are no longer invited to the same places or that your presence makes others feel uncomfortable without any clear reason. This is a sign that your frequency has surpassed the environment you were previously in, and the universe is creating a buffer zone to prevent your energy from being drained. You are being quarantined for your own protection, kept away from influences that are no longer in alignment with the person you are becoming. Divine protection also shows up as a heightened sense of intuition that warns you of danger before it manifests physically. You might feel a sudden urge to change your place, avoid a specific person, or take a different route home. These gut feelings are the direct communication lines between you and your spiritual guardians. Learning to trust these impulses without needing logical proof is a key part of your training. The more you listen to this internal guidance, the more you will see how often you were steered away from unseen pitfalls and towards safety. There is a specific type of peace that accompanies divine protection. a calm in the center of the storm that others find difficult to understand. Even when your external life seems to be in a state of upheaval, you have an underlying sense that everything is working out for your good. This is the result of your spiritual roots being anchored in a reality that is higher than the physical world. You are being held in a sacred cocoon while the world around you undergoes its own chaotic shifts, ensuring that your internal stability remains untouched. As you become more aware of these protective signs, you will stop fighting against the flow of your life and start trusting the timing of your evolution. You will begin to see that your isolation was actually a hiding place where you could be nourished and strengthened without interference. Every delay was a mercy, and every closed door was a blessing in disguise. By acknowledging this divine guardianship, you step out of the frequency of fear and into the frequency of total faith, knowing that you are never walking this path alone. As we close this sacred chapter, remember that your current isolation is not a void, it is a womb. You have been set apart because the mission ahead requires a version of you that is untainted by the world's expectations. Trust the silence, embrace the shadow work, and know that heaven only hides what it intends to reveal at the perfect moment of impact. You are being forged in the quiet to lead in the light. I want to hear from you now. What was the one realization that hit home for you today? How has your perspective on being chosen shifted to show that you have stayed until the very end? And to help this message reach more souls who are currently sitting in the dark, please type the word "kimtsi" silence in the comments below. By doing this, you signal your readiness to embrace this divine quarantine and support the growth of this community. Thank you for your energy and your presence. He who has a why to live can bear almost any how. Keep your why close to your heart, and the how will continue to reveal itself in the stillness. Stay chosen.